Hey everyone, welcome to episode 12 of Building My Trike. Last week, after I edited the video, I did this. The vacuum pull and carbon layup of fixing the cross member to the pedal boom. So I've still got a little bit of resin and stuff to pick off and the tacky tape and whatnot, but everything started out pretty crappy. I wasn't getting a vacuum. And the bag where it pleated here and joined and went down to the bottom here, there was a gap of about like a triangle about that big. So I didn't know what to do. I just squeezed it as tight as I could, squished the tacky tape together and just ripped on it and stuck it to the bottom of the bike down here. And then I still kept getting a vacuum leak, and turns out there was a leak just on the underneath here, just there on each of the sides where it comes up and goes into the support for each of the wheels. There's a tiny little leak there, so I just patched that with a bit of tacky. I still had a leak, and it wasn't down the bottom here. And I had probably about 100 ml spare bag here because the carbon only went up to here, and the bag finished about there. So I peeled the bag back, restuck it down, put a pleat on either side, and pushed all the spare bag up as far as I could, and I still had a leak. So then I went around and started pushing it down, and just under here and then across this surface here was where it wasn't stuck properly to the carbon. Luckily I was using a slow cure resin because it hadn't even gone tacky at this point. This is like an hour of trying to find a vacuum leak, and it wasn't even tacky. So I was stoked on that. I left the vacuum pump running after I fixed the leak, but as soon as I patched those holes, it sucked right down and I got a perfect vacuum and perfect compression on this whole thing. And this is super stiff now, and I laid the carbon up to nearly halfway, probably about halfway along here. So this bit here is probably like a mil thick carbon, and then the 2 mil thick carbon, and then up here it's like 20 mil thick carbon. So I'm stoked on that. I pulled the bag off yesterday afternoon after about 5 hours of curing, and it was still a little bit tacky enough that I could peel the shade cloth all the way off without it like tearing or anything. It was sort of like peeling off, and you could still feel it was a little bit tacky. And then underneath here, just under the front surface here where the bag folded up, some of the carbon folded back over on the peel ply. So as I was peeling a peel ply off, I could peel it and like pull it out of that gap. So if it had gone off and it wasn't tacky, it was like solid, I'd never be able to do that, because then the carbon would not move and the peel ply wouldn't peel off as easy, and I'd be left with like a void with peel ply in. So I could peel it back and then sort of like squish it back up and not stick it to itself, but like sort of push it so it closes that gap again. So stoked on that. All the peel ply is gone, so what I'll be doing now is I'll just glue this bit in to go from here to here after I peel the rest of the tacky tape off. Now I know I said I wasn't gonna do this until I'd finished that, but I am, because it gives me something to do. And I'm bored because I've taken these out to machine up the spacers, and I don't have time to do the machining today, and I want to do something today, so I'm going to do this. So today I cut some carbon fibre, got some left over here, and just did a wrap on all the joins here. I didn't do this one or this one, but on the join down the bottom, I laid some glass onto the surface of the structure, and then bonded it into the cross member here. And right now I've got the intermediate, sorry, not intermediate, the idler system being glued in place, just sitting there for now. I've only just glued it and I've got it all squared up, so the idlers run square. So this bit here will go down a tube like that. I've already measured it, just double checked before I put it in place, and that'll sit right there like that, up against that, and then the chain line will come out the top, go up the top, and then down underneath through that, and then out to the derailleur. So after this is dry, I will lay some tacky tape around the edges, make a bag up, cut the carbon, and decide where and how I'm going to lay the cloth to just bond it a little bit tighter in. I'm obviously going to put some more carbon around here just to strengthen this bit up down the bottom, and probably put another layer of carbon up and around here just to give it the base of it a little bit more rigidity. And then after that I can start looking into pouring the foam. I've also got a bit of timber, a little bit dodgy, but you know, whatever, laid across here, because when I put the seat on, because this foam height and this height is the same, but I didn't take into account the thickness of the carbon on the bottom where it steps up like that and whatnot, so it's a little bit out. So to have the seat level and not like kicked off the one side, I just chucked that bit of timber there, so when I glue this down it'll be nice and flush and level that way, and then it'll push up against this bit here, and I'll probably put a bit of glue there as well. This part is glued in, and already it feels a lot stiffer through everywhere, which is great news. So I've got leftover bits of carbon over here, which look like they're going to fit quite well into this bit here, so I'll probably just use them for that, and then I can mark out where I want the bag to go. Earlier today I laid the carbon for the idler, and I did a resin vacuum infusion, and I glued the return spout for the chain and glued the little seat thing down there, and I've erected some walls over here, and I'm about to pour some foam and start forming the structure of a bike. So I've just poured the foam in. I can feel it getting warm, and I've got this black garbage bag laid over the little seat that I've got glued in the bottom of a bike, and I'm pedaling so my arse creates a groove to the shape of my pedal stroke. So when the foam goes off, it's nicely shapen, and then I can take about 10-15 mil off that just to give me some extra pedal room, because I might, when I'm pedaling, do like a different shape as I pedal. But yeah, this is a process. Should be doing this for about, well, I don't know, 10 minutes. So that's why I got my phone with me, to keep me entertained. I've started pouring the foam and forming myself a seat, and I've run out of foam actually. So what I can do now is what I've done now is I've glued the bit here, which is going to bend and join up with these two bits somehow, and while I wait for Monday when the shop opens to get some more foam, I can do a glue a piece in here that will box in where I can cut a hole after I've poured the foam, so I can box in, and that'll be where the chain line goes. So what I can do in the meantime is I can cut all the excess foam over here and make it flush with the bottom surface here. So I'm going to do the bottom, not the top. So I've got more surface area to bond carbon onto. So I can cut that and just prep it for when I'm filling in the little gaps here with spare foam later on. All these pieces that I'm going to cut off, I can go and drop them down here and fill in the gap, so I'm not wasting foam. So this glue started to go off, and I've boxed in where the chain's going to come out. So now all I have to do is cut a sheet that'll fit into here and try and fill this corner in as well. So the sides and the little 45 gaps have been plugged very bodgily, if that's a word, bodgy, very bodgy. But it'll do for now. Once I pour the foam will seep through a few of the gaps, and then I can sand it clean. And what I'll be doing is just laying carbon fiber on the inside here and basically bogging it up as best as I can. It started to stiffen the bike up quite a lot, even just with this piece in here, which is good news. So yeah, it looks pretty rough for now, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I can make it look a little bit better once the foam's in. So tomorrow I'll be getting the foam and filling the rest of the body in, but for now, that's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next week.